What's going on, everyone? So we got an update in regards to Jared Vanderbilt and his injury that I talked about in a video yesterday. But also, as far as updates and injuries go, Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves missed the last Milwaukee Bucks game due to an ankle injury, and he is, based on reports, day-to-day. Now, he did do some non-contact drills, and there's still question about whether he'll play Tuesday. It is not expected to be anything significant. It's more of a cautionary thing, trying to make sure he's healthy and ready once you get to the actual regular season. If this was a game of any meaningfulness, he would actually be playing, which is good, right? You don't want the injury bug to start flowing. It's preseason. You want guys to, hey, dealing with, rolled his ankle, dealing with a little ankle injury, whatever, right? Okay, take your rest, take your time. Armel Traore is also expected to miss the couple days or week with a swollen thumb. Just precautionary, right? These games, as much as you want to kind of get into a rhythm, as much as you want to get into a flow with things, you also want to make sure you're healthy to start for the games that actually matter, that when you win, it actually counts in the win column, or if you lose, it actually counts in the loss column. But Austin Reaves is somebody that been critical about recently. Look, I maintain, I like Austin Reaves. I do have belief and faith that he can turn it around, but I can't judge somebody based on what he may or may not do 3 months from now. I can only go off of the track record he has currently. And the only thing that I've really honed in on is the lack of shooting ability. I've praised his defense. Defensively, he's been fantastic. He really has. He's been very good on the defensive side of things, and hopefully he can maintain that. Hopefully he can keep that going into the regular season and hopefully into the playoffs, because he was great in the playoffs. He was a traffic cone during the regular season. He was terrible in the regular season. And then we got to the playoffs, and he was actually very good. And he's looked very good defensively, getting after it, putting in the energy and the effort on the defense side of things. I hope he keeps that up. I hope he keeps maintaining that. Also, his playmaking has been better. I still don't look at him as a playmaker. I still don't think he's the guy I want initiating and running the second unit or something like that. But I do like him in this offense. I do think that because of all the movement and stuff and the attention that he's able to create and draw, he's been much more aggressive, which is something I've hit on and praised. Because last season, he really lacked that aggression. He settled so much, right? He would just rather continue to shoot threes rather than put the ball on the deck, get crafty, create the contact, get to the foul line. You saw in the first preseason game, he had 16 points. He was terrible shooting the basketball, but he was 10 of 10 from the foul line. That's the Austin Reaves I want to see. That was the Austin Reaves that I love. I'm not saying he has to get 10 free throws a game, but it's like your shot's not falling. You're struggling to find your rhythm. Get to the foul line, right? Generate some offense that way. Right? Put the ball on the hoop that way. Start building some confidence, taking some strides. And again, a lot of people are like, well, it's just the first two preseason games, but it's not just the two preseason games for Austin Reaves. It's the playoffs, in which he shot 28% from three. I know people look at it and look at the stat and go, well, he was 37% from three last season. Yes, if you just look at the stats in a nutshell, yeah, he wasn't that bad shooting the three ball. But if you actually watched the games and you watched how bad he was and how inconsistent he was, you remember that 37% is an average of the season. It doesn't account for the beginning of the season in which he shot 28% from three, and then he went to the bench for, 8 games or whatever, 10 games or whatever it was, and actually was leading the NBA in sixth man votes with Tim Hardaway Jr., and he got back to shooting, I think he was 39% from three during that stint. So he got benched, and his stats just went boom. He was giving you the same stat line on better efficiency. And it was like, okay, there he was. Then he got back into the starting unit and just went right back to being this roller coaster. And he was in the starting unit the rest of the game. And I talked about it. He'd have these pockets, right? He'd have these 5-game stints. It's all documented on this channel. Go back and watch the live streams. Go back and watch the videos. It was like he'd have these, he'd have a 3-game stretch and we're like, is this it? Is Austin Reaves back, baby? Let's go. And then he'd have another game that's like, okay, good, he's back. And then 5 games of just him poo-pooing the bed. And it was like, okay, so he's not back. I mean, it was a roller coaster. again, it's all documented on this channel. Like, this is like a running diary in a lot of ways for past seasons. So, again, I'm rooting for Austin Reaves. I like Austin Reaves. I don't want to see Austin Reaves shoot the ball poorly. Why? Because he's on the Lakers. The better he is, the better the Lakers will be. Right? So if Austin Reaves is shooting 28% from three-point range all season, that's a disaster. That means the Lakers are probably going to have some struggles. The Lakers are going to have to make some changes and adjustments, right? Made a video talking about trading Austin Reaves. I made a video about benching and making him the sixth man in Austin Reaves. In both of those videos, I said if he doesn't improve, if these issues continue to be an issue, you have to either bench him or trade him at some point. Because we have enough guys that are one-dimensional guys. We don't need another guy that can, be serviceable defensively and not score the basketball. Right? We need a guy that can shoot the basketball and maintain. We need a guy that can be and play multiple roles. Right? Again, Austin Reaves has done great rebounding and playmaking and defending. We need that. We need him to do that. But he's got to be able to shoot. Right? We have plenty of guys on this team. We have too many one-dimensional guys. If not, let him go be the sixth man and then it doesn't really matter. He can go get his 17 a game, 16 a game, and he doesn't have to be incredibly efficient, and he doesn't have to be this, that, and the other, because he can be the sixth man. But if he's going to be in the starting unit, we got to have that balance. Even talked about in the Jared Vanderbilt video. I think at some point you're probably going to have to start Jared Vanderbilt over Rui Hachimura. Unless a trade happens or something ends up developing, chances are you're going to need better balance in that starting unit at some point. And I just think Jared Vanderbilt gives you that best balance. Now Rui goes to the bench, and now Rui can be a primary scoring option, right? Like, Austin Reaves has been excellent as the sixth man in the past because he gets to be Austin Reaves. He doesn't have, he just gets to go and play and score the basketball and be aggressive and be in attack mode. Also, he's going up against bench unit defense players. He's able to cook. He's able to do what he needs to be. Again, it doesn't matter. Starting is just a vanity metric. I know a lot of people look at starting and oh, you gotta, but why does it matter? If Austin Reaves starts and only plays 15 minutes a game, is that really better than Austin Reaves coming off the bench and playing 30 minutes a game? Right? Starting is irrelevant. It's how many minutes do you play? How much do you impact the game? Right? Do you close at the end of games? Right? I would much rather if I was I'd much rather be the guy that's on the floor closing game in and game out than the guy that's starting. Right? Starting, is great. Again, it's an ego boost. That guy. But if you're the guy closing, if you're the one that they're trusting to finish games, then that to me is more valuable than anything else. As long as I would rather play 30 minutes a game in a bench role than play 15 minutes as a starter. But again, now obviously if you're Jared Vanderbilt, I think he's a good example. I would start him, but only play him 15 minutes, right? Because he's a guy that kind of wanting pockets, but he also has a very specific skill set. A very specific set of skills, right? Those that get the reference. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with. Again, if he continues to struggle, I hope he figures it out. I hope he gets back to being that. Again, it's not about the end result. LeBron James, for example. I know Austin Reaves is not LeBron James. I'm not comparing them as far as skill set or talent or anything like that. I'm talking about LeBron James is a good example. LeBron James, you look at his history shooting the three ball, outside of last year, of course, and so far looking good this year. But he's been a 36% three-point shooter. But if you actually watched him over that tenure, he wasn't a 36% three-point shooter. Nobody considered LeBron a great three-point shooter. But if you look at certain years that he had stats, even in those years that he had the stats, if you looked at him, nobody was oh yeah, LeBron, 38% for three, he's great. No, because why? Because he would have a month where he was 20%. And then he'd have a month where he's 70%. He just was month to month. Right? And you add it all up, and it totaled 37% at the end of the season. It's what Austin Reaves did last year, right? Again, he had stretches where he was really good and had stretches where he was really bad. I would rather Austin Reaves be 36% all season long. Again, you have the bad game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the occasional dud. I'm talking about, like, there's a 10-game stretch, and instead of having 5 games where you're shooting 28% and 5 games where you're shooting 38%, or 45% or whatever it is that average out to 37%, instead of you doing that, I'd rather you just be 36% across the board, right? It's just like every game, he's clocking in 36%, 36%, 36%, 36%, 36%. That's what I would rather have. Rather you game in and game out, night in and night out, be able to deliver on a consistency level, rather than like you're just this roller coaster. That's what Austin Reaves was last year. I want him to be great. Again, if Austin Reaves is really good, the Lakers are going to be really good. If he's not, I do think you need to start looking elsewhere. I do think he now becomes untouchable. But we'll see. Again, I'm rooting for him. I really am. I want him to be great. I want him, the Rob Pelinka talked about him having a Jalen Brunson. Please, please. I even defended it. I even made a video breaking down how it's not that far-fetched of an ask. I've talked about how I believe Austin Reaves can be a 25-5 guy. Not 25-5-5, 25-5. I believe he can be that, even as the 4th option. Right? Like, I have faith and believe. I have talked up Austin Reaves like he is the second coming of Michael Jordan. I have done all of that. But right now, he's struggling. It is worth the discussion. Right? It's not something like, again, I've criticized LeBron at times. I've criticized Anthony Davis over time. Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, you name it. No one's been off. I've defended guys even when they haven't warranted defending. Right? Because Russell Westbrook at times I even defend. Darvin Ham at times I even defend. When it's warranted, it's warranted. But when he needs criticism, he's not above criticism. He's not so good that Michael Jordan deserved criticism. Kobe Bryant deserved criticism. LeBron James deserved criticism. Nobody is that good that they never have a bad moment, right? Like, this could just be a stretch. It's a stinker, but it could be. Guys have bad moments. Guys have bad stretches, and they figure it out, and they get over it. That's what I'm hoping Austin Reaves does, and maybe he does. Maybe he will. A month from now, maybe we're talking, it's like, yeah, remember that time that I was talking about and I was concerned about his shooting? I hope so. That's great. I would love that. But right now, I only have the information that I have. I don't have what he'll be 5 months from now. I don't have what he'll be in June. I have what he'll be right now and what has been the track record the last year and some change now. It's been not too good. Hasn't looked very good. Now, again, hopefully that changes. I'm rooting for him. I need it, but we also need him healthy. He's got to be healthy. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have concerns about Austin Reaves this year? Do you think, like, nah, he'll be fine. He'll be great. Even through his slump, do you think he'll bounce back? Again, I have faith. I have belief he'll bounce back. We've seen him be able to do it. Right? We've seen him be able to shoot 40% from three-point range. Get back to it. But however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.